Goku and Naruto. Throughout anime, there are few characters who have more iconic transformation than these two do. Both of them unlocked progressively powerful forms until they essentially reached the peak level of power of their respective universes through godly forms: Six Path Sage Mode and Ultra Instinct. Now, this video is not going to be a direct Goku versus Naruto video. I think even the most reasonable Naruto fans can admit that Goku is a generally more powerful character, at least in Super. Instead, today we're going to be covering just their respective strongest forms and talking about which one is stronger and what traits the forms excel at over the other. Also, the reason I'm not considering something like Baryon mode is that while it is stronger like numbers wise compared to Six Path Sage mode, it provides way less for Naruto ability wise. By the same reasoning, it's why I'm talking about Ultra Instinct and not something like Vegito versus Naruto instead. Before we go any further though, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out and lets me know to make more stuff like this in the future. But for now, let's get right into the forms. The first thing we need to establish is how we're going to measure the forms in relation to each other, and there are two ways of doing this: the within-universe way and the versus way. The former is considering how strong the abilities are given the abilities and powers that the user already has, essentially saying that the Sage Mode transformation gives someone in Naruto what Mastered Ultra Instinct gives someone in Dragon Ball. In the second scenario, we will say we have two completely normal human dudes who are exactly the same. Give each of them one of the forms and then tell them to fight each other, and then go over probably who would win that fight. So, let's jump right in. To begin our analysis, I'd like to go over the similarities that both of these forms have with each other before we go over the actual differences. Firstly, as most, if not all, anime transformations do, these forms generally increase all the stats of the user. Ultra Instinct definitely has an unfair advantage in this category, so I'm not going to be really counting it fully against Sage Mode here, but it's very important to know. But in brief, the multipliers that exist within Dragon Ball's universe are just drastically more substantial than they are in the Naruto universe. The only two real multipliers that I know about in Naruto for absolute certain are the 10 times strength multiplier that the Curse Mark version 2 gives you, and the dozens of times multiplier of the 8 gates. There are a handful of others, like the Mangekyo potentially being a multiplier of one's chakra as well. For the most part, boosts in Naruto are more so an addition on top of other stats. For example, Jinchuriki are not getting like a Super Saiyan multiplier when they transform into their tailed states. They're getting a certain amount of chakra from said tailed beast and then transforming. So a weak character going version 2 might get a 10 times multiplier, while a stronger character with the same form and same tailed beast might only get a strength increase of, say, 3 times. Still, it's not unreasonable to say that the massive amount of Sage Chakra Naruto gets from this state is likely higher than any other multiplier thus far seen in the series, putting it beyond the 12 to 144 range that the term dozens in the 8 gates would imply. Of course, the multiplier of the form could be way higher, but there's not really a way to exactly quantify it besides doing some insane weird Hulk stacking or random headcanons. Even taking the most basic lowball and saying that Mastered Ultra Instinct is just stronger than Super Saiyan 3 was in the Buu Saga, Mastered Ultra Instinct is already well beyond 400 times Goku's base, and well beyond any reasonable quantifications that we can make about Six Path Sage Mode. So, purely from a standpoint of which form makes them stronger, Mastered Ultra Instinct has Six Path Sage Mode beat. But, like I said before, this is really just due to how both of the series are about multipliers, and so it's relatively unfair to say that this is the only way that we should compare the two of them. Another similarity between these two forms is their general ability to enhance the senses and reactions of the user in particular. For Naruto, it's implied that his general sensory has become far beyond that of any other character at the time, like Ten Tails Madara. Sage Mode generally allows the user to sense nature and the environment, letting them be aware of attacks they are not directly able to see. We see the utmost of this when Naruto is able to sense Madara's limbo clones who existed within another dimension, to the point where being able to fight them, as well as Sasuke could, who could literally see them because of the Rinnegan. Even with just normal Sage Mode, Naruto was able to sense the entire 4th Great Ninja War happening even while being nowhere near it, so it's safe to say that his sensory as a Six Path Sage is even higher than that. The enhanced senses of Ultra Instinct function a lot different than Sage Mode does. Instead of relying on any actual information to the user beyond what they could sense and increase the connection between the mind and body, Ultra Instinct actually does the opposite. It completely disconnects the mind from the body. A truly highest level and perfect Ultra Instinct is one where Goku fights flawlessly, even without needing to think about what he does. But even Goku is struggling to reach that level, needing to use things such as emotions to power up the form. The main problem that Goku has at the moment is that his accuracy with the form is still reliant on how powerful he currently is, as his accuracy increases when combining UI even with his normal Super Saiyan forms. This is why the Angels are considered above him, as they can access this power naturally without needing any form or powering up at all. This instinct also allows Goku to automatically do things other than dodge, such as increasing his own durability to just tank attacks if necessary. Although we still don't know too much about it, it seems like when truly pushed to its limit, Ultra Instinct also forms like an avatar that acts as an extension of Goku's will, as it seems to activate even when he was unconscious. On the subject of differences, let's talk about the unique abilities that each of the forms have, which is much more heavily in Naruto's favor. The other major abilities granted to Naruto Sage Mode are the ability to fly and the creation of truth-seeking orbs. The former is self-explanatory, but the latter does require a little bit of explanation. Truth-seeking orbs are made out of all the chakra natures at once, allowing them to nullify jutsu, and according to Hiruzen, can turn all things to dust. However, we see that this isn't exactly the case. It's less of a touch and you instantly die type thing, and more of that all the damage caused by them has this property. Six Path Sage Mode can also heal people, but how well this healing translates to the user is generally unclear, but doesn't seem capable of growing back things as large as limbs, as Naruto never grew his back, despite still having the form. Every other power that Naruto has in the form is due to different transformations or abilities entirely, like Kurama Mode, which has nothing naturally to do with the form itself. Considering these abilities as part of the form is like considering ki techniques as part of insane biology as part of Ultra Instinct. Remember, this is just talking about these specific forms, not Naruto versus Goku. So, in this initial round, it's a bit of a toss-up depending on what factors you think are most important in a form. As a power-up, Mastered Ultra Instinct has 6-Pass Sage Mode beaten with ease, but in return it has far less stamina. In my opinion, the form's ability to automatically react to and negate harm is better than 6-Pass Sage Mode's reaction amp. As Sage Mode, you still need to consciously dodge and choose your movements whenever you're sensing, while MUI, there is no need to do that, it just happens. But by that same token, Sage Mode gives a lot more random extra stuff that Mastered Ultra Instinct doesn't have, making it mostly just like a one-trick pony of a form. Still, personally, I believe in quality over quantity, so I would still give it to Mastered Ultra Instinct. So now, let's look at it from a different scenario and compare how the forms would directly compare to each other in a fight. Who would win between someone who has Ultra Instinct and someone with 6-Path Sage Mode? We're going to assume that they have mastery of the form, given how they would both immediately lose the form if they didn't, as both require a lot of training or a very special and even cosmically unique temperament to even use the forms. Unlike last time, the quantification for how strong the form would make them is a lot more up in the air, while MUI is essentially the same. Sage Mode's amp would be larger, as it's empowering someone who doesn't have any chakra to suddenly be empowered by a large amount of senjutsu, proportionally larger than what it was for Naruto. So for the sake of this, these forms are granted an equal stats increase. The Sage Mode user is going to have a lot more to work with and are going to be a lot more of a tricky fighter, able to throw out truth-seeking orbs and use the staff while also flying around. However, I don't think any of these abilities necessarily overcome Mastered Ultra Instinct's automatic defense and offense. To think of it another way, if Mastered Ultra Instinct can dodge one of Sage Mode's punches, then it's also dodging a similar attack but now holding a staff in his hands. While the same could be said about Sage Mode dodging Mastered Ultra Instinct, the guy with MUI is going to be naturally a better fighter and be fighting with maximum efficiency the entire time. It really comes down to if you think Mastered Ultra Instinct fighter can defeat the Sage Mode fighter before Sage Mode's superior stamina allows him to outlast the other. Personally, I think when it comes to purely fighting, Mastered Ultra Instinct is better, but when it comes to what I'd want to have in like real life personally, I definitely say Sage Mode. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to comment down below how I'm wrong in the comments down below. See ya.